So,
first ball with no appeal, isn't it?
Yeah, at last we can settle in. We can settle in. So, Barry and Dan, we have you on because on the 1st of October you are about. Are you both of you going on this escapade?
Yes, myself and Daniel and Charlie, who's here. We're joining a convoy of 4 ambulances. The first of October, so opening batting in October.
There's the first one.
That's more like it again from Hazard, just getting bat and pad close together. So tell us, yes, you're taking these 4 ambulances.
Yeah. So, latest of our convoys, I lead a group called Medical Lifelines Ukraine. We've delivered 37 aid-filled ambulances to Ukraine since the full-blown invasion, all from southwest London, Surrey areas. So we've got another convoy of 4, maybe even 5, Barry, if you're lucky, ambulance going out at the beginning of October, and then more convoys of ambulances planned for November, January and March.
A little too full this time. So you say aid filled.
Yeah.
So the ambulances themselves, part of the aid is the ambulance.
Yeah. So we
they have a
donate the ambulance.
Physical ambulance, and then the ambulance itself at the end of the over 91 for 2. Is that the end of the over? It should. It looks like it is. It is. Just our scoreboard hasn't quite caught up. But you then also you fill the ambulance with what?
All sorts. Medical aid, clothes, children's toys, pots and pans, food. Yes, even dog food for rescue dogs. Yeah.
Wow. And how many times have you been?
So I've been 3 times. My last time I got back on Friday from my last trip, which was to Lviv and Kyiv, and then tail end of last year I was in Odessa.
Now Odessa's rather in the crosshairs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of places are. They're all the 3 Ukrainian cities I've been to since the full-blown invasion have all been fantastic, amazing places filled with incredible people who are desperately going about their ordinary lives. Trams run, schools are open, offices are open, restaurants, shops, hotels. So this is a bit like actually watching cricket, isn't it? When you go to a game and you're midway through a sentence and you break briefly to, oh yeah, nothing happened. So you go to these places and there is sadly clearly a degree of risk. The Ukrainians are incredible actually at rebuilding their cities. So I mean, we were driving into Kyiv last week. They're building a skyscraper.
That seems, well, I mean, I guess it's the right thing to do, but at the same time, somewhat perilous.
Yeah, it's a remarkable thing, and it's something incredible about the Ukrainians I've met, and that there's still a functioning civil society, and then you get alongside that the sacrifice and loss that people are experiencing. That's really readily apparent. That the number of memorials and so on is deeply moving.
That's a fine shot. It's dug out a very full delivery there from Roach. It's going to run up to the boundary in front of the pavilion for 4. And Azad is proving a bit of a thorn in Surrey's side here. Moves to just 4 runs of a half century. He's not had the best of seasons so far. We'll just take another look at this. Roach has been getting a bit of swing and he's zeroing in on leg stump, hoping for a little bit of late movement. Trap him LBW. Got very close to getting him LBW a couple of overs ago.
Bit too much swing, do you think? More than he's expecting?
Perhaps. Well, they've been targeting the leg stump quite a bit of Azad. And he's been equal to it today. Now, this isn't your day job.
No.
So what is your day job, and how do you get time off to... Because I can't believe that getting to Ukraine in an ambulance is a necessarily particularly swift enterprise, is it?
No, not overly. Well, it's as I say to people, if I want to be a little bit flippant about it, the nice thing about this war is it's close. We've got 2 days, 2 reasonably long days of driving. It's about the same distance as it would be to drive to the south of Italy or Portugal or somewhere like that.
Wow, that does make it seem quite concerningly close. Yeah.
Yeah, and Krakow, which is the largest city in Poland to where we cross, is it's about a 2-hour flight. So it's really not very far at all. So it's 2 hours to the border. So 2 hours, 2 days to drive to the border.
And how far is Krakow from Ukraine?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours drive.
From there.
From Krakow, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's surprisingly, it is all surprisingly close. Where we go, we tend to take the 2 days to get there, and then our volunteers are not at all required to drive into Ukraine, because that would be a ridiculous requirement. And the ambulances can be left at the border of Ukraine, and we have Ukrainian volunteers who can come across, collect them and drive them back. But most volunteers, when they get there, they look at the situation, they assess it for themselves, and they decide actually going into Ukraine is something that I want to do. And of course, it's not as though you walk across the border and there's bullets and bombs flying around, and our side of the border is all peace and light and string quartets.
No, I mean the concentration of the fighting, close quarter fighting, is presumably further over to the east, but you're still in danger of air attacks, drone attacks, and similar.
Yeah, so the fighting is in the east and very much in the east of Ukraine, which is a very long way away. As you say, missile strikes and so on are possible absolutely anywhere. But thankfully, although Barry gave me credit for going on our next convoy, I'm not going on the next convoy. So Barry has to make those decisions.
So how many times have you been before, Barry?
No. This has been my first trip. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's very rare that you get the opportunity to support a cause that you care about in such a direct way, and to be able to go and make such a direct impact by getting out there and taking an ambulance and delivering the aid and actually putting it into the places that need it, going to the hospitals and just handing it over.
So ambulances are I mean, it's not very difficult to work out why ambulances would be rather well required in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
What's the attrition rate for ambulances out in Ukraine at the moment?
So we were given the statistic last week that an ambulance, if it's near the front line, lasts about 6 months.
Right.
So they're being driven hard, and
the front line, is that towards Donbass? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, all those cities sort of in that sweep, and then up the eastern side of Ukraine. So they get targeted, which is a war crime actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, they might have got a run there. Actually, a little fumble by the skipper Burns at mid-off, but he gets away with it.
Has he fumbled the ball more now? He's cut his hair.
Oh yes, he's cut his hair. Yes. Yeah. So I haven't actually seen him without the hat on. So the extent to which that hair has been cut, I don't yet know.
Is he feeling very self-conscious, do you think, about the new Barnet?
Well, he was rather attached to those locks, wasn't he?
We tend to be, don't we?
Well, I'm afraid I sort of parted company with most of my locks quite a long time ago, so
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I think each of us have a love-hate relationship with our hair. So tell me what you do, Barry, for your.
So I work for Joe and Finn, who sponsored the stand that we're sitting in. The company, they've been incredibly supportive actually. Charlie works for Joe and Finn as well. We work together, and they've been great. They've been very generous with their sponsorship, and they're supporting us really well. So and I have to say the same for Surrey actually. Surrey have been very supportive, and again with the sponsorship and with their time and giving us the opportunity to come here today and to talk about our cause and what we're doing.
It's a cause that sort of galvanised the nation. We're going to change the bowler actually. Keep our roaches out of the attack. Jordan Clark, who got the initial breakthrough, is coming back in from the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion end. What is it for you? Why has this galvanised you? Have you been involved in previous charity work, or is this?
No, not at all. Just really, obviously supporting charities, mainly sponsoring other people, running marathons and things like that. And I don't really fancy running a marathon.
No.
So I thought I'd drive to
Ukraine drive for 2 days to Ukraine instead. Yeah,
let's do that. It'd be easier.
So what is it about this particular cause that's galvanised you, do you think?
Well, I mean, as Daniel said, although life goes on in the Ukraine, the lives of the normal civilians have been impacted in ways that we can't even comprehend. And I just think it's really important that we don't let this slip out of the news. And as I said, actually, to be able to give the opportunity to drive out there and see firsthand how you're making a difference and how the donations, people have been incredibly generous to both Charlie and I. We've raised it, we've been really surprised.
Yep, it was very noticeable, wasn't it, that the moment the invasion happened, there was a sudden groundswell. I live in Tooting, and the Polish centre, there's quite a large Polish population in Balham, Tooting area, opened its doors, and on the first day they just couldn't really handle the sheer quantity of donations. It's a cause that sort of absolutely resonated with the population, and it's clearly got you moved. Now that's been flicked away in the air for a while out towards Deep Backward Square. It's going to be 4 for a while. Dan Worrell didn't pick that up down at Longleg. It's a gloomy old day, but just straying onto the pads. Karen now has been dropped on 11. That was about 2.5 hours ago. It's now moved on to 19. And with that, the 100 comes up for Northants. 100 for 2. And they're going along very nicely for a side that was put into bat today on a cold, gloomy September morning. So the route you're going to take, you're going to go through London, you're going to go across into France, through Germany, into Poland, and are you going to go all the way into Ukraine, do you think?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, well, I mean,
have you cleared that?
Breaking news.
Not with me, by the way.
You've got no meetings planned for the 3rd of October, then? No?
Mrs. Baz, has she signed off?
Oh, that was close to the outside edge, wasn't it?
But yeah, no, I'm definitely. I'm planning on going all the way.
Fantastic. And you've done nothing like this before?
No, never. No, never. It will be a proper adventure.
Do you get a sort of orientation before you go? I mean, you spoke to Dan presumably about what to expect, what you're going to confront when you get into Ukraine.
I mean, we've had some. Dan gives some very good guidance to us in advance. And just listening to some of the other drivers is great experience, and even down to what you need to take, things that you wouldn't even really think about that you need in the ambulance along the way. And so Charlie's got a huge pile on his dining room table. We had a big old order up from Amazon last week.
You don't sleep in the ambulance, do you, overnight on the way down?
No, we get to stop, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
You don't have breakdowns like we do.
And there'll be more than it won't be just you driving all the way. So
no, 2 to an ambulance. So Charlie and I will take it in turns to drive the ambulance if he lets me.
Now, you were telling me earlier that you've seen ambulances riddled with bullets. In Ukraine.
Yeah. So I was involved with driving a convoy last week. We got to Lviv and to Kyiv, and we had a meeting with the Ministry of Health in Kyiv, and met Deputy Minister there, and had a fascinating conversation about their specific needs and so on and so forth. But walking to the Ministry of Health, which is in some grounds on a hillside. Kyiv's quite a hilly town. It's on sort of top of a hill, and sort of walking in, you walk past hastily erected fortifications, sort of breeze blocks, sort of machine gun posts and things, and walking up the driveway to it, there's sort of foxholes dug in at various different places and things. You remember that there was fighting on the streets of Kyiv for about a month when the invasion first occurred, which is staggering.
Well, that was the objective, wasn't it, in the initial invasion?
Exactly. Knock Kyiv over, and the country follows, and there'll be a victory parade in 3 days. Don't forget to pack your smartest uniform and your boot polish. But then at the front of the Ministry of Health, there's this display of 4 or 5 shot up and bombed out ambulances, and you walk in, and you go, yeah, that's why we're here, because this is what's happening. And you see When you see in, I don't know, films and TV programs, people hiding behind a car door to protect themselves from bullets, I can exclusively reveal from the pictures I took and what I saw, bullets are not stopped by doors, and you just got the hole straight through, and you don't know what on earth happened to the people who were inside at the time, which must have been utterly terrifying. But you think, right, that's why we're here, and we can move the needle, we can make a difference. People sitting around a kitchen table can do something, and the thing that we do can, without wishing to descend into hyperbole, can genuinely save lives. And that use the word a moment ago, resonate. That power, that ability that we have as individuals to make an impact, really does resonate. And because the war is close, we can get in and we can drive the sort of distance that people might drive on holiday, and deliver something that's desperately needed.
Yeah.
Well, just remind everybody after this ball how they can donate and how they can support.
Thanks very much. Yeah. So if you look up Medical Lifelines Ukraine, search for that, or go to medicallifelines.org.uk, then that will take you to our website, and there's a donation link there. We have donation pages for, I don't know how many people in the States are watching at the moment, but we have donation pages in the States and in Canada as well as in the UK, and every penny that we raise goes directly into the work that we're doing. And providing aid, providing vehicles. We've got a long list now from the meetings that we had about what's needed, and it's fantastic to be able to make that difference.
Well, it's enormously impressive. It's incredible effort you're both putting in. And also, I guess we've got to thank the organisations that you work for, because you're getting time off. JM Finn is supporting you in this endeavour, and for you, Dan?
Yes, so I work for a bank called Citibank, who look away slightly when I head off in an ambulance, which is very kind of them.
Just look away.
Yeah, exactly. I'd burn through my holiday allowance, and then I think my wife would be quite unhappy with me if they didn't. But no, it takes it's and what Barry was saying earlier on. People are so supportive. It's really moving.
Well, we're all very in awe, really, of what it is you're doing. Stuart Meeker of this parish, former Surrey and England fast bowler, drove a van down there with a load of supplies. I think you've probably trumped him, because I don't think he left the van. He left the supplies, but you're taking the supplies and you're leaving the ambulance.
Well, if he fancies driving an ambulance out with us, would be.
Well, do you know, he might.
Yeah, exactly.
He actually might.
Who knows?
I'll try. Well, Adam Collins will get you in touch, because he works with us on a different radio station, SEN.
Who knows? Cricket commentators might fancy driving out as well. You never know.
Well, after I get back from India, perhaps.
There you go.
I've got to do the World Cup first.
Yeah.
If I survive that,
it could be a victory lap, an England victory lap. You could.
Are you that confident? I'm not sure. Oh, now then, that was so close to cover. Driven in the air, not a million miles away there from a catch in the cover region. It's just plopped over the boundary for 4. It's one of the rare occasions that Karen Nair has looked actually to be a bit proactive. We'll just take another quick look at this. If we get it from that angle, it's hard to tell from that angle. It was very low, but still, Surrey's search for a third wicket continues. We're going to let you go. I'm going to make way myself in a minute, but huge well done for what it is that you're doing.
Real pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
And I will try and get myself an ambulance driver's permit. Do you need a special licence?
No, just a normal one. So, tell you what, we'll do you a deal. Yep. If England win the World Cup, you can come and drive an ambulance to Ukraine.
Lovely.
That was an agreement.
You make it sound like so much fun. Well, actually, the way you talk about it, you are obviously enjoying it, and at the same time doing incredible work. So, thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much.
We're going to let you go. We're going to have a double change in the commentary box. We're going to have Yas Rana, who's wearing a particularly natty red fleece today. It looks very comfy. Looks very autumnal. Well, actually, it looks more Christmassy, wouldn't you say? It's like a sort of gigantic holly berry. And sitting alongside him, someone else also in his Christmas shirt.